With the support of the Bureau of Immigration, these threats are mitigated through the diligent tracking of movements and the strict enforcement of immigration laws. I'm Angelique Lazo, and this is In Person. About their programs and initiatives, makakapanayan po natin ngayong gabi si Bureau of Immigration Spokesperson Dana Sandoval. Let us all welcome you to our show in person. Magandang gabi.
Magandang gabi din po.
Yes, okay. So, mainit ngayon ang mga pagdinig sa Senado hinggil sa mga personalidad na di umano'y sangkot sa mga maanomalyang flood control projects. Nasa mga ilan kaya ang mga nasa lookout bulletin ng Bureau of Immigration?
Madami na po. Actually, naka-receive na tayo ng 2 batch of immigration lookout bulletin orders from the Department of Justice. The first one was a batch of 35 individuals. The second one was a batch of 26, kung hindi ako nagkakamali, individuals na mixture siya ng mga empleyado ng DPWH as well as contractors. May inaasahan pa po tayo na maaaring mga susunod na batches ng immigration lookout bulletin na i-issue ng DOJ as the investigation progresses. Kasi nakikita natin na maraming bagong names na lumalabas doon sa mga investigasyon. At naniniwala po tayo na because of this, the Department of Justice might issue a new batch of immigration lookout bulletin orders.
Ito ba mga pangalan na ito ay mga malalaking pangalan o mostly mga staff sila?
The first 2 batches is mostly po mga yung mga nauna na nakita natin na mga district engineers, mga at the working level ng DPWH, as well as yung mga owners mismo ng mga kumpanya na naging contractors nitong mga flood control projects. Pero dun sa mga susunod na batches, inaasahan po natin na maaring mas tataas pa yung level ng mga i-issuehan ng lookout bulletin. Kasi nakikita natin mukhang there are new names that are popping up during the investigation. And we leave it to the DOJ to guide us kung sino yung imamonitor natin.
Ano yung mga protocols na sinusunod ng Bureau of Immigration kapag merong ganitong request ng lookout bulletin para sa mga public officials, nandiyan din yung mga contractors na implicated or at least na sasangkot ang mga pangalan sa mga government-related scandals?
Well, true to its name, yung immigration lookout bulletin is for looking out or monitoring yung travel ng isang individual. Hindi siya way to stop the travel, but rather matingnan natin kung ano yung movements ng taong to. Ang protocol na kinakailangan gawin ng immigration officer kapag na-encounter po ito sa paliparan or seaport is to first inform yung Department of Justice, National Prosecutor's Office, and other related government agencies to check kung merong freshly issued warrant of arrest or hold departure order or any type of new order. Kasi pag mga ganito po ng mga high-profile cases, mabilis yung andar ng investigasyon. Maaring merong bagong issue na hold departure order or warrant of arrest na hindi pa nakakarating or hindi pa nadadala sa Bureau of Immigration. So it's an opportunity for the officer to be prudent in checking kung may bagong issued. Kung meron, yan po of course ay i-implement. Kung wala naman po, then the subject will be allowed to leave, pero kukunin lahat ng detalye ng kanyang travel, including yung kung saan siya pupunta, ano yung mga addresses and contact information niya. At ito po ay isusumite sa Department of Justice para makatulong doon sa pagtakbo ng investigasyon.
So all our officers dun sa mga ports of exit natin,
Yes.
Meron bang parang exit interview with these personalities?
A little bit, kasi kukuhanin po lahat ng impormasyon ng kanilang travel, but more of verification doon sa mga agencies and sa DOJ kung ano yung record ng taong to. Kasi maaaring biglang meron ng warrant of arrest. So kapag may warrant of arrest na agad yan, i-coordinate sa kapulisan natin to implement the arrest. But without anything, with only the immigration lookout bulletin, we allow the travel of the person. But we take note of all the details for it to be used doon sa investigation.
Wala bang violation of some kind of human rights noong person involved, na kapag meron siyang mas lengthier interview na isinasagawa sa kanya, maraming tanong, sa kay titira, anong gagawin mo, and all that, has that raised some kind of complaint from the other side?
Actually, in the past, noong hindi pa malinaw kung ano yung parameters ng immigration lookout bulletin, there were concerns about that. But now that it has been established that the immigration lookout bulletin is strictly for monitoring the travel of the individual, malinaw na po yan sa lahat ng parties, even the immigration officers, that they cannot use the ILBO to stop the travel of an individual. Merong mga famous cases niyan na naging questionable yung decisions because immigration lookout bulletin ang ginamit to stop the travel of the individual. But because it was solidified already by the Department of Justice na ito ang dapat ninyong gawin at ito lamang ang pwede ninyong gawin kapag may na-encounter na lookout bulletin, I think it's more na ngayon, clear and harmonized na yung procedures natin.
And of course, pag sinabing hold departure order, talagang hindi siya pwedeng umalis.
Yes, ang malaking difference ng lookout bulletin sa hold departure order. Kasi una, yung pa lang, issuing authority. The issuing authority of the lookout bulletin is the Department of Justice, while ang hold departure order or precautionary hold departure order is issued by the court. Ang hold departure order will really bar the person from departing. Wala namang arrest, walang anything na gagawin. Sadyang hindi ka muna paaalisin until you finish your court case or the court gives you clearance. There's another type ng hold departure order called the precautionary hold departure order. Ito yung for cases na nakikita ng korte na maaring may flight risk yung subject, and despite the case just being in the preliminary stages pa lang, kumbaga hindi pa tuluyang gumugulong ang kaso, nasa piskalya pa lang, pero nakita ng korte na oops, this person is a flight risk at maaaring umalis ng bansa. They can also issue the precautionary hold departure order, which is also implemented by the BI, also barring the travel of the person.
Flight risk na maybe hindi rin siya babalik or hindi babalik agad.
That's right. Lalo yung mga talagang high-profile cases na there is a risk na takasan niya yung kaso, ang pananagutan niya. Of course, meron kasing pag nagfa-file ng kaso, talagang may proseso Merong pinagdadaanan na investigation and all, hindi natin maaalis yan. At yung tao might abuse that time in the middle to leave the country, and the courts react to that by issuing a precautionary hold departure order.
Pagdating naman dun sa mga cancellation ng mga travel documents like the passports, for instance, is that under the BI or under the DFA na?
It's under the Department of Foreign Affairs po, being the agency that issues the passport. Ang nangyayari po, halimbawa, there is a Filipino who has left the country already and the passport is issued. Ang effect po niyan ay magiging undocumented alien na siya sa bansang yon. And because he's already an undocumented alien, the country now, the immigration agency of that country will have to deport him kasi undocumented alien na siya. Yun yung nagiging effect nun. Once they cancel the passport, the Filipino who is out of the country, who might be facing some issues or complaints or cases in the Philippines, is required to go back because wala na siyang pasaporte, hindi na siya free to travel without the passport.
At walang papel ang Bureau of Immigration dyan?
Wala po. Yan po ay ginagawa at ini-issue ng Department of Foreign Affairs. But once they enter the country, we get the reports and we also forward it to the DFA.
Okay. Ano ba ang ginagawa ng Bureau of Immigration laban sa mga illegal foreign workers na nandito din sa ating bansa? We see them everywhere, pero perhaps medyo nabawasan na. Aalamin po natin ang kasagutan niyan sa pagbabalik ng In Person.
share the stories of our people is a privilege. It's a commitment. Responsibilidad namin ito bilang journalist. Ito ay isang hamon upang buksan ang ating isipan patungo sa mga bagong perspektiba. Yan ang hamon na aming tatanggapin upang higit na maintindihan ng ating mga kababayan ang mga nangyayari sa ating lipunan.
Ako po si Maan Makapagal, on assignment.
Tuwing Lunes, alas 7 ng gabi, dito lang sa PTV.
Nagbabalik ang in-person. Kasama natin ngayong gabi si Bureau of Immigration Spokesperson, Dana Sandoval. Ito nga, no, we are a very welcoming country. Kumbaga, napaka-warm ng ating hospitality kapag merong mga dayuhan na pumapasok dito. Pero what happens kapag yung dayuhan na yan, kulang sa dokumento, ano? Ano yung mga tinitingnan ng mga immigration officers pagdating nila dito sa ating bansa?
When they enter the country, ang tinitingnan po natin is first, if they are complete dun sa documents nila, they should have their passport valid for at least 6 months, their outbound ticket, kasi kung turista lamang sila, and their visa if they are visa required. Pero may mga 157 countries that are visa-free sa Philippines, so they can enter without a visa. They can stay here for 30 days visa-free. And of course, yung kanilang intention. What is their purpose of travel and going here to the Philippines? If all is okay, all is clear, they will be allowed to come in. But if the immigration officer spots na, oops, this person looks like may malicious intent siya in entering the country, despite him having all the complete documents, the immigration officer may stop the person and send him back to the port of origin and blacklisted kapag ka nakita na merong suspicious intent o kaya naman derogatory records based on Interpol watch lists or previous derogatory records with the BI.
Oo. Meron ba tayong listahan, isang clickable ano nga ba yan, website maybe or something from the Bureau of Immigration na makikita agad ng officer at that point na ito may mukha nito, may ganito, putol yung daliri or masyadong maraming tattoo. Although ang tattoo is very common right now.
Yes, ang tinitingnan natin na metrics siguro ng pag-assess sa isang passenger is not yung appearance, kahit nakachinelas or kasi yun yung common na perception ng tao when they say immigration officer. Oh, you look at how they look like, or if they don't look good or medyo marungit silang tingnan, immediately suspicious na yan. That's a misconception about the role of immigration officers. Not looking at how they look, but how they talk, how their statements correlate to the documents that they have, and of course yung records natin dun sa centralized database natin. Yes, we do, ma'am, have a centralized database na once nilagay po yung passport ng passenger, lumalabas dun yung full records niya to see if meron ba siyang cases in the Philippines or meron ba siyang Interpol watch list, kasi connected yung system natin with Interpol. We also get other information from other governments na ibabato natin yan, particularly for sex offenders, yung mga individuals na kino-consider natin as possible sex tourists who are coming to the Philippines to do wrongdoing sa mga kabataan natin. Kasama po yan doon sa nilalagay natin sa system natin para pag na-encounter sila at the ports pa lang, we can stop their entry dahil lumabas yung pangalan nila sa ating centralized system.
Pag gano'n, na talagang naka-flag yung taong yan, mayroon pa bang paraan para umapila yung bisita or talagang automatic, hindi na siya makakapasok at the next plane out, balik na siya sa kanyang pinanggalingan?
Well, as part ng rights niya, of course, lahat naman pwedeng umapila nila sa any decision ng mga ahensya ng gobyerno. But mostly, appeals kasi ito ay submitted to the Office of the Commissioner. Mostly, hindi pinapayagan. Lalong-lalo na yung mga may derogatory records saka yung kinoconsider natin na mga sex tourists or sex offenders. Once yan po ay finalized na, siya po ay binabalik sa kustodiya ng airline, which ensures na siya ay isasakay sa next available flight back to the port of origin. Once boarded, the BI also ensures na ang kanyang pangalan ay nakalagay na sa blacklist. Para kunwari, pagbalik niya doon, isipan niya, balik ulit ako, try ko ulit, baka pwede kong i-try ulit. Hindi na po pwede kasi makikita na po siya sa system natin na siya ay previously excluded, meaning hindi pinayagan na foreign national, and automatic blacklisted already.
Alright, okay. Ano-anong mga foreign nationals ang karamihan na nagtatrabaho dito sa ating bansa?
Madami po. Actually, sa totoo lang, medyo lumiit na yung bilang ng mga foreign workers here in the Philippines. Lalo po nung nagdeklara ang ating Pangulo ng banning ng POGO, which we believe talaga is a good thing kasi ang daming mga negative effects nung POGO industry in the country. Used to be, many of them are Chinese nationals. Ngayon po ang nakikita natin, still some Chinese nationals, Vietnamese, Indonesians, mga kapitbahay po natin sa ASEAN countries, ang karamihan na nagtatrabaho po dito sa Pilipinas. As for the residents naman, karamihan naman po yung mga malalayo yung pinanggalingan, like Americans, Canadians, yun naman po yung mga nagre-residente naman sa Pilipinas.
Ano yun? Because sila ay nakapag-asawa ng mga Pilipina?
Yes, marami po sa kanila ay napaibig at nakapag-asawa po ng Pilipina, which allows them to apply for a permanent residence visa if they have a valid reason to stay here permanently.
Balikan lang natin yung mga ibang foreign nationals nga, yung mga foreigners na nagtatrabaho dito. You said during the time of POGO, mga gaano kalaki ang bilang nila and how has it shrunk?
Malaking bagay po, malaking difference kasi at the end of last year, which was the deadline for them to all go out the country, we saw a total of 33,000 foreign nationals who were working for the POGO industry. Karamihan po dyan in Metro Manila kasi most of the POGO companies are centralized in Metro Manila. But now, I think it's probably less than 4,000 already yung naiiwan dun sa grupo na yun na hindi umalis. At yun na po yung hinahabol natin at kinoconsider natin na mga undocumented or illegal aliens already.
So yung 4,000 na yan, hindi nila na-regularize, hindi nila naayos ang kanilang mga papel?
Yes.
Could they have fixed it or done something about it o talagang automatic talagang alis na dapat?
Kung yung umalis sila nung deadline, they left the country and they are able to go back, halimbawa for a different purpose, like nakapangasawa na ng Filipino, or they found another type of work in a different industry, not in the POGO industry, then they could have regularized their stay. But for the ones who decided to try hiding and letting things cool off and wait it out, hindi po. Talagang we consider them as illegal aliens already.
Speaking of those who either got married or had relationships with Filipinas, alam ko merong time na nahirapan din ng PAOK, no? Na yung mga ibang nasa detention, yun na nga, nagdadalang tao yung kanilang either may bahay nila or yung kanilang girlfriend. Paano ni-resolve ng Bureau of Immigration yan? Sila ba'y automatikong pinaalis o meron tayong mga humanitarian considerations na ibinigay sa kanila?
Until now, even dun sa last batch ng mga deportees natin, I think it was more than 100. Meron pa rin mga deportees doon na may mga iniwang pamilya, asawang Pilipino na talaga namang nalungkot when their partners were deported. But sadly, of course, we follow the rule of law. There was a ban for POGO workers. Had they followed the rules and left the country and regularized their stay after the deadline, then walang problema po. They would have been able to process that. But after the deadline, they need to be deported. After the deportation, they can of course appeal their case, but they're out of the country already. And i-consider lang siguro yan kung kagaya nun, may mga pamilya, may mga anak. Of course, hindi naman tayo sarado sa mga ganong cases. Naiintindihan naiintindihan natin na may mga pamilya and humanitarian considerations tayo. But we follow the process. They would have to go out of the country first and then appeal their case.
Ayan, so it's not a totally lost
Yes,
cause, no? Pwede pa
definitely.
silang bumalik.
Definitely.
Ayusin lang nila ng maayos yung kanilang papel. Okay, ano yung mga penalties at mga legal action na ini-impose sa mga illegal foreign workers, pati mga employers na nag-hire sa kanila na kulang sa mga tamang permits?
Kapag foreign national po, ang punitive action ng Bureau of Immigration, once ma-determine namin na itong taong ito ay illegal alien, walang tamang documentation, the punitive action is deportation. Two ways yan. If the subject, halimbawa, goes to the Bureau and regularizes his stay, then he would be able to regularize his stay and get the proper documents and visas. Pero, pag ikaw ang nahuli, di ba, nagtago ka, you don't go to the BI to report, you don't apply for the proper visas and all, at ikaw ang nahuli ng BI, you will be arrested and deported. Pag deported, automatic po sa atin yan, blacklisting. For the employers naman, may mga nakikita tayo ng mga kumpanya na posibleng nag-harbor ng mga foreign nationals na illegal na nagtatrabaho dito. That is also liable under the Philippine Immigration Act of 1940 for harboring illegal aliens. May kulong po siya, may penalties at kulong po siya under the law.
Employer.
So, for the employer. Kaya yun ang lagi namin sinesend na warning na yung mga employer, don't even try. Kasi maaari po yan na maging rason para kahit kayo, dahil ikinubli ninyo yung foreign national na illegal na nagtatrabaho dito, maaaring dahil sa awa, maaaring for monetary consideration, pero yan po ay illegal sa ating batas. So, may haharapin po silang kaso.
Okay. Kasi kuminsan may mga trabaho talaga na ang expertise ay wala sa atin. Pag ganon, pag it's a certain type of skill na sila ang meron, pinapayagan natin sila magtrabaho dito. Is that right?
Pwede po. Wala pong problema sa atin ng mga foreign workers here in the Philippines. Nakakatulong sila actually sa ekonomiya natin and sa pag-progress nung iba't ibang mga sektor ng mga industriya sa Pilipinas. Pero kinakailangan po ay meron silang permit from the Department of Labor and Employment. Yun yung Alien Employment Permit. Ang Alien Employment Permit po, essentially, ang sinasabi niya ay itong trabaho ng taong ito ay walang ibang Filipino na makakapaggawa ng trabaho na yon. Kaya binibigyan namin siya ng permiso na magtrabaho sa Pilipinas. And with the Alien Employment Permit, the foreigner can now apply for a working visa in the Philippines.
Okay, that leads me to this question. Kasi yung mga mahilig mag-shopping, let's say sa Divisoria, yung mga ibang may-ari nung stall at sila mismo yung, nandun sa frontline, although meron sila mga tauhan, hindi sila mga Pilipino. Hindi man sila makapagsalita ng Filipino. And parang may mga inuutusan lang sila mga Pilipino. Ang pagkakaalam ko noon, hindi pwedeng pasukin ang retail trade ng mga dayuhan because this is work that we can do. So, kumbaga wala silang ibang skill or kakaibang mga talino na ginagamit para mapasok ang industriya ito. Why are they there?
That's right. Ang retail trade, hindi po pwedeng pasukin ng mga foreign national. Marami na rin po tayo mga naaresto dyan sa mga lugar in Manila. I don't want to be specific, but dyan sa mga lugar in Manila where usong-uso yung mga retail trade and marami nga po, maraming Chinese nationals ang nakikita dyan. There have been a lot of raids and arrests already in those areas and even in different areas, as far as Boracay.
Yeah.
Kahit
napasok na rin nila.
Yes, there was one na nag-operate mismo ng restaurant sa beachfront in Boracay. As brazen as that. That's why tuloy-tuloy yung arrest natin. And kung meron mang naiiwan doon, maaaring yun yung mga naturalized na or may pamilya na dito. But the ones na nagtatrabaho dito na turista or nagbebenta ng meron silang ibang visa,
na dati pinipirmahan natin, pero ngayon you just go on a website. How do people know that this is the correct site? Kasi in the past, nakita ko may mga nagrereklamo na hinihingan sila ng bayad. Tapos in the end, wala rin pala silang e-travel registration. Ano? So, ano na po ang ginawa ng BI?
Yes, I'm happy that you asked that kasi lalo ngayon Burr month, so parami yung babiyahe and we're expecting a lot of people to be using the e-travel. The e-travel, actually, konting backgrounder lang. It started dati paper-based yan. So when you go to immigration, you fill out a form, you have 3 children with you plus your husband, you fill it out. Then you go to customs, you fill another form out, and then you go to quarantine, and then you fill another form out. So it's so tedious for people who are traveling. So during the interagency meetings with the Department of Tourism, napag-agrihan namin na there should be just one platform for everything kasi we're asking the same questions just konting kaibahan lang for each agency, but essentially the same questions. So that was integrated during the pandemic time into the e-travel. Partner natin siya na ang Department of the ICT na siya yung nagte-take down ng mga fake na mga websites. One red flag is kapag nanghingi ng bayad. The e-travel is free, wala pong kailangang bayaran. You can go directly to the website etravel.gov.ph. etravel.gov.ph, ulitin ko lang. The recommendation is you type it directly to the website, to the browser, because if you search it, maraming mga nagpa-pop up na mga fake sites. So if they ask for money, don't give money. If they ask for credit card details, don't give your credit card details. It's free. You can also use it through the eGov Super app. It's integrated na. So malaking bagay din with the DICT. They merged everything in one platform. So you can click the app and then go straight to e-travel. And ngayon, the difference now is that you don't have to fill it out again and again and again and again. You just need to update your flight number and the date every time you leave. And that's it. So very convenient na siya ngayon.
Okay, that's good to know. No? Pero paalis din, kailangan mong gawin at paparating, kailangan gawin. And this is for all, hindi lang Pilipino, pero pati mga foreign nationals. The thing is, we really need to improve siguro our campaign, information campaign. Siguro sa aeroplano pa lang, pwedeng i-announce niyo sa mga airline flight attendants na you have to fill this up and there is no payment.
Yes.
Because otherwise, people don't know it.
Yes,
they end up paying.
That's true. Talagang we try as much as we can to get the word out, to make sure. And then, of course, with our partner agencies, kasi e-travel is not just PI, but also with the ICT and BOQ and Bureau of Customs. So all of us are trying our efforts to get the word out that it's free. You don't need to pay anything. You don't need to input OTPs or your credit card information. It's free.
All right. Okay. Kung maraming Pilipino ang nais mga ibang bansa at kuminsan yun na nga gustong maging citizen ng bansang ganito, ganyan, marami din ba mga foreigners na gustong maging Pilipino? Ano-ano po kaya ang requirements? Ano ang mga qualification sa mga foreign national para sila po yung maging isang Pinoy? Okay, alamin natin yan sa pagbabalik ng In Person.
Disaster Watch. Alamin ang heavy rainfall warning system ng Pag-asa. Yellow rainfall warning. Pinapayuhan ng lahat na mag-monitor ng mga weather update sa inyong lugar. Maghanda sa posibleng pagbaha sa mga mabababang lugar at tabing baybayin. Orange rainfall warning. Mas malawak na pagbaha ang inaasahan at posibleng magka-landslide sa mga tabing bundok. Bumuo ng isang emergency kit at maghandang lumikas sa anumang sandali. Red rainfall warning. Inaasahan ang matinding buhos ng ulan sa loob ng 2 oras na magdudulot ng malawakang pagbaha at landslide. Para sa inyong kaligtasan, agad na lumikas papunta sa ligtas at mataas na lugar. Sa panahon ng kalamidad, dapat laging listo.
Nagbabalik ang in-person. Kasama natin ngayong gabi for our very interesting interview, Bureau of Immigration spokesperson, Ms. Dana Sandoval. Okay, so off the air, no, we were talking about, yun nga, may isang naging mayor na hindi naman talaga dumaan sa tamang naturalization process. Ano ba ang nangyari doon? Magbabalik tanaw tayo para rin siguro maiwasan na maulit ito sa iba pang mga okasyon.
Yes, kasi ang foreign national, kung nais nilang maging Pilipino at talagang foreign national siya, wala siyang claim to Philippine citizenship, what they have to do is to be naturalized.
Okay.
Yan ay, para maging naturalized ka, kailangan mong dumaan sa Office of the Solicitor General, or it could be an act of Congress na ikaw ay i-grant ng Philippine citizenship.
Kunyari, basketball star ka,
Yes, di ba?
Why not?
Marami yan, mga artista, basketball stars na naturalize as Filipinos. There are cases wherein some foreign nationals try to skip this. Lahat yan and circumvent it by getting a birth certificate directly in the form of late registration. So as a full-grown adult, they will register themselves as a Filipino citizen, kunwari born of a Filipino mother and then a foreign father, and then they will go through the motions of getting all the documents and assuming that identity already. Marami na po tayong nakuha na cases na ganyan. Very famous yung sikat na mayor na yan na of Tarlac na dating nakuli na po ng ating gobyerno. Ganyan yung nakikita natin ng mga cases ng ilang individual. They are able to get a birth certificate through late registration, and with that's the mother document So with the mother document, they can get their driver's licenses, their passports, TIN ID, national ID. So ang daming iba't ibang documents na pwede na nilang kunin, and they can assume the identity of a Filipino. The hard thing about that is they have already embedded themselves in the country as Filipinos. Who knows what they're going to use it for? Is it for business? Is it for something more sinister? That's what we're afraid of.
Yun na nga, all the benefits and privileges of a Filipino, kanila na, kapag nagkataon. Okay, kapag kinasal ang isang foreign national sa isang Pinay or maybe a woman, foreign woman married to a Filipino, automatic na ba yun? Magiging Filipino citizen na ba? Mananaturalize ba?
Hindi naman po. Not
Paano
necessarily. It's his option, actually, kung nais niya. Many of the foreign nationals go through the permanent residence route. So sila ay maninirahan dito permanently.
Mga ilang taon yon?
Permanent. So they can stay here as long as they like. They can live here and retire here with 13A, married to a Filipino visa. And with that po, they can stay here unlimited. They don't need to extend their visas every so often. They can also be naturalized later. So that's their option.
Their choice.
But it's not naman automatic that they can be naturalized or they will be naturalized. If they are married to a Filipino, those are their options.
Meron bang qualification or requirements na hinihingi sa isang foreign national kung siya ay mag-a-apply para sa Filipino citizenship or naturalization through the Bureau of Immigration?
It's not with the BI, it's with the OSG, but generally speaking, ang tinitingnan nila when you are applying for a naturalization is yung pananatili mo in the country. Meron yang period of time how long have you been in the country? Isa sa mga nakita ko na tinitingnan nila is what have you contributed to society? Parang beauty contest. What have you contributed to the
peace?
What have you contributed to the society that makes you truly a Filipino? So yun yung mga tinitingnan. Apart from the usual requirements, of course, the passport, the documentation, and everything. But those are the things that they are looking for. Who are you? Do you have a clean record? And what have you contributed to society for us to see that you are indeed worthy of being given the citizenship?
Anong usual time frame niyan? Is it like, kasi like kunyari sa Amerika, diba? Ang tagal, mga 25 years kuminsan para mapetisyon ng isang kamag-anak dito. Dito sa atin, kapag nagsimula yung proseso, mga taon, one?
It's not as long naman as in the United States. I think it's just a few years. But merong tinitingnan na yung length of stay mo here in the country. So maybe like 5 or 10 years, I think they're already considering for naturalization. But as long as really you want to be a Filipino and you have no ill intentions of getting the citizenship, kinokonsidera po yan ng mga opisina ng gobyerno.
Dapat siguro wala ring bad record, no?
Yes, definitely. Tinitingnan po yan sa atin if they have a derogatory record. Kasi maaring they're just trying to evade arrest from a different country.
Yes.
There are individuals that are considered fugitives from justice that try to hide in the Philippines. And their derogatory record is something that they also look at in consideration for the applications.
Miss Dana, pag-usapan naman natin itong tungkol sa mga Pilipina na nais makapangasawa ng mga foreigners sa ibang bansa, ano? I remember in the past it was called mail order bride. Pero dahil wala ng slow mail ngayon, so meron na email order bride ba or online bride? May mga ganyan pa ba tayo?
Actually, until now, may mga nakikita tayong ganyan eh. Siguro important na i-differentiate natin siya from those individuals na talagang may
Legit.
AFAM.
Oo.
Na yung tawag nilang AFAM, yun yung tinatawag nilang AFAM, that they meet a foreign national, they actually fall in love, and they actually get together. That's very normal and that's very common these days. But there is still this bad trend of women being sold as wives online. And it's not anymore, tama po kayo dyan, it's not anymore through snail mail, but they do this through social media. And the patterns that we've been seeing, yung nakikita namin, is that it's actually a recruitment for work. It's not really for marriage or marriage for convenience. It's a way for the Filipina to be able to be recruited by the husband, pero ang gagawin siyang forever house helper without bayad. Kasi you're now a wife.
Yeah.
But it's really just a form of trafficking. And up till now, we've been seeing that may mga nai-intercept po tayo in our airports na mga babae that are subjected to these kinds of recruitment. And they are being duped into thinking that they are married already to the foreign national. Meron tayong napaka-elaborate na mga setup nila.
Okay.
When you look at their marriage certificates, it's all the same. All the details are all the same. They get married in this restaurant, officiated by this certain reverend. Tapos may setup talaga in an office, in a public area, where they are married. But they are not really married because the wedding is not legitimate. Kasi hindi naman authorized na magkasal yung officiating pastor nila or something like that. But they are able to get these certificates, these marriage certificates saying that here that they are
So
married.
dapat may PSA
They are able to get documents, legitimate documents, but these are fraudulently acquired. So yun yung mahirap doon. Kasi on paper, it's perfect. On paper, if you look at it, kumpleto lahat. But when you ask basic questions, they don't even know the real name of the husband.
Hala.
They don't even know where they got married. Kasi imbento lang lahat in the guise of a recruitment scheme.
So this is human trafficking ang tawag dito when they finally get to their destination and then wala na silang freedom, wala na silang karapatan. Kung minsan pati passport nila hawak, di sila binabayaran o kaya sinasaktan pa sila. Di ba? How rampant is this dangerous scheme given that people still leave the country to to find out na sila na yung magiging scammer pagdating nila doon.
That's one of the biggest trafficking schemes na nakikita namin ngayon, yung mga scam hubs abroad. Many of them are being operated in our neighboring countries, where Filipinos usually are recruited to work as BPO workers, call center agents. Usually that's the line of recruitment, and the recruitment happens online. Parang yung sa mail order brides kanina, mostly online na. So the scary thing about it is bigger yung reach. So they are able to reach so many people in so little time, and they're able to hide behind that mask of anonymity because it's all online. And there are still marami pa rin tayong mga kababayan that agree to this scheme and try to leave the country na ganun pala ang magiging trabaho despite so many information drives that we have been doing. Yung IACAT, Interagency Council Against Trafficking, have been releasing na it's a scam. Don't go there. You'll be forced to be scammers. But some people still think, baka it's not true. Baka this is the job for me.
Masyado attractive yata
It's
yung
very
mga
attractive.
offer, no?
Very attractive. At saka ang target nga, yung mga young urban professionals.
Ayan na.
Yung mga kabataan na mahilig pang mag-explore, mag-seek greener pastures, look and check what's out there for me. At the offers are that, ngayon ang nakikita nating offers is around 45 to 60,000 pesos a month. But before, it was like as much as 200,000 pesos ang offer nila with free everything, board and lodging, pagkain, pamasahe, leaves, ang ganda ng offer. But when they get there, they are barely paid, binubugbog sila, sinasaktan, and some are even required to pay a ransom for them to be able to go back home. So hindi worth it at
So
all.
if it's too good to be true, it probably isn't
Yes,
true.
that's true.
At mas malala pa kapag naging naging prostitute, yung, di ba? Naging ano nga ba tawag dyan? Selling of their flesh.
Yes.
May mga kota-kota pa sila.
Ganon din, parehas din yan. Isa rin yan sa mga tinitingnan natin na nangyayari pa rin na. It might sound like, this parang pang pelikula eh. These things are not happening anymore. But the truth is, they're happening every day. And they might be happening to people that we know, people that we love. Kasi it's a different type of scamming ngayon dahil online na lahat. At yung mga scammers are very meticulous in the way that they are recruiting people. So it's very enticing kasi marami silang proof na pinapakita despite it not being true.
So the immigration officer has to be really astute, no? Dapat talaga alerto siya. Tinitingnan niya talaga yung mga iba't ibang detalye. Kasi I remember once na po rin yung BI dahil sa hininga ng yearbook. Medyo extreme naman yun. Sino ba nagbabiyahe na may dalang yearbook?
Yes.
Oo, paano na?
True. It's not really siguro on the individual ang inuurirat ng immigration, but more of looking at the trends and see if this person fits that trend. Kasi yung trends ngayon ng trafficking, parang format. The call center agent, ganito yung mga pinapakita, ganito yung mga sinasabi. So the traffickers have one script that they give to the person and the victim would say it. So yung susunod na biktima, yun din yung sasabihin. Yung pangatlong biktima, yun din yung sasabihin. So it's a script na paulit-ulit nila sinasabi.
It becomes familiar na rin.
It becomes familiar to the immigration officer. And that's how we detect yun yung tinatawag natin na red flags. Not because they look suspicious or they're not carrying a yearbook or whatever funny documentation. It's because the things that this person is presenting fits the mold of the trend that is happening.
Yun, okay. At meron pa tayong mga nais tanungin, lalo na tungkol din sa inyo, yung mga kasanayan ninyo, kung ba't kayo nalinya dito sa ganitong uri ng trabaho sa pagbabalik po natin dito sa In Person.
Check out your dream machines with veteran journalist Ron De Los Reyes in one of the longest running motoring shows on Philippine television. Auto Review. Only here on PTV.
Nagbabalik po ang in-person para sa huling bahagi ng ating panayam sa Bureau of Immigration Spokesperson. Walang iba kundi si Ms. Dana Sandoval. So, let's talk a little bit about your journey. Paano nagsimula ang inyong paglilingkod dito sa Bureau of Immigration?
Well, what a hard question. I've been working with the Bureau for maybe 18 years already, almost 18 years already.
What led you to this?
It was just out of curiosity. I wasn't really expecting to be staying here for this long or to be really pursuing the work of an immigration officer. I just wanted to try it out. And then when you get here, pag nakita mo, it's a very interesting job kasi it's very different from all the other from all the other types of job. Lalo pag na-assign ka sa airport. Ngayon, there are so many new immigration officers.
Did you go through the airport, sorry?
Yes,
Also?
yes. I've done all the different offices, including the airports. I was assigned there for more than a decade sa front lines and sa supervisory level. So it's a very interesting type of work kasi you get to meet a lot of people and you get to hear napakadaming storya. Sa paliparan dyan yung makikita mo may umiiyak, may masayang-masaya, and it's a different kind of family when you work together up till midnight or up till morning na kasama mong nagsispend ng Christmas and New Year yung mga kasamahan mo. So it's very interesting and it's something that it's a nice avenue for those who are seeking a job.
Walang pahinga, no? Parang kami rin sa broadcasting.
Parang,
no?
kaya-
Walang holiday, di ba? Walang mga bagyo and all that.
Kaya
Although,
yan yung-
of course, pag talagang malala yung bagyo, wala kayong mga pinapalipad na eroplano. No?
Yan nga yung sinasabi ko sa mga kaibigan natin sa media na parehas lang tayo ng ginagawa. 24/7, umulan, bumagyo, kailangan nating magtrabaho.
Yes, bukod sa schedule, ano pa yung mga biggest challenges na iyong kinakaharap bilang spokesperson ng Bureau of Immigration, lalo na when you need to communicate the policies, immigration policies to the public?
Yes, thankful naman tayo na well-guided tayo ni Commissioner Joel Anthony Viado when it comes to the policies and the guidance on how to communicate the direction of the Bureau of Immigration. Of course, sinusundan natin kung ano yung direksyon ng ating Pangulo, Pangulong Ferdinand Bongbong Marcos Jr., na sinisigurado natin na alam ng tao kung ano yung nangyayari sa gobyerno. Yun naman yung goal natin is really to be transparent about what's happening with the Bureau of Immigration. Whether issue ba yan, problema ba yan, or is it a new project? We show it to the public for them to be informed of what's happening, na ito ang ginagawa ng aming gobyerno. Kung may mali, maaring punahin. Kung may tama, siguro maganda rin na mapalakpakan.
Tama naman. And so your role has evolved, no? From being frontliner and doing supervisory work and other things. Paano kapag high profile yung mga immigration cases o kaya involving national issues or maybe involving big foreign nationals?
To be honest, especially on the ground, medyo mahirap. Lalo yung mga high-profile cases. There's always this risk sa ating mga frontliners, lalong-lalo na. Maraming pwedeng mangyari sa ating mga immigration officers. At the course of their duty, merong mga sinasaktan, merong mga nakaka-encounter ng cases just in the performance of their duty. So, it's a very difficult job. Pero siguro, it's something that is important to our nation. Kasi kahit alam mong mahirap yung trabaho mo, yung trabaho mo naman ay may benefit and alam mo na what you're doing is protecting the country from foreign threats, from people who might be trying to leave the country and escape their accountabilities. So may silbi yung trabaho mo at it leads to the betterment of the government.
Yes, naaalala ko lang yung pastillas issue before, ano? Paano nyo natigil yan at paano natin hindi na mauulit at mapigil na talaga natin from happening again?
Well, apart from a total revamp ng mga tao, talagang very difficult time yan for the Bureau. Kasi even the people who are working hard na normal lang na nagtatrabaho ay affected nung problema na yon. But apart from the total revamp ng mga tao doon and reorganization ng ating mga paliparan, the Bureau has put in technologies. Kailangan talaga may technology na puputol dun sa opportunity ng corruption. So meron tayong mga body cameras na, more CCTVs. Ngayon, electronic gates na yung nilalagay natin. Kasi the goal is to remove the immigration officers at the front lines. So we're expecting by the end of the year, half ng operations natin electronic na. Remove the immigration officers at the front line and transfer them for secondary or supervisory work na mas importante. Kasi yung stamping ng passports, it's just like manual labor eh. It can be done by a machine. But yung analysis ng trends, analysis ng documentation should be done by a person. At doon natin ililipat yung immigration officer by making sure that the front lines are electronic, nawawala yung opportunity for corruption. Hindi mo naman pwedeng bayaran yung machine na, uy, palusutin mo ako. So, nawawala yung opportunities for corruption. And at the same time, this is strengthen yung monitoring mo dahil naman maximize mo yung tao mo into doing things that are more important than the manual labor.
Ayun, okay. What particular skills or experiences have you had in the past to help you fulfill your duties as the face and voice of the Bureau?
Well, a difficult question din ito. I guess siguro being assigned at the front lines and actually doing the work. It's very important if you want to talk about an agency, kung gusto mong ikwento kung anong ginagawa ng ahensyang to, maipaliwanag yung buong proseso, pinakamagandang paraan ay ginawa mo mismo yon. Naramdaman mo kung ano yung pakiramdam ng umupo doon, kung ano yung proseso ng mga bagay-bagay na yon. And saka mo mas madaling maipaliwanag na ito po yung proseso when we encounter a lookout bulletin, etc. because you've done it yourself. And I think that's very important in being a good communicator is really knowing what you are talking about. Hindi yung pwedeng kwento ka lang. You have to know the littlest detail of what you are talking about for you to be able to explain it properly.
Yes, okay. At napansin din natin mga kababayan na yung mga madalas magbiyahe, for instance, napabata yung ating mga immigration officers, di ba? Ano yung advice na maaari mong maibigay sa ating mga aspiring public servants, ayan, na nais din maglingkod dito sa larangang ito?
Meron tayo ngayong bagong immigration. So gusto natin parang facelift ang Bureau of Immigration. Yung mga tauhan natin continuously nire-refresh natin. Hiring, trainings, para laging improving yung buong ahensya. So they can, if they want to be a part of the solution, you can go and apply and be part of the government, di ba? They can visit careers.immigration.gov.ph. Lagi po kaming may hiring. Every now and then, we would, siguro every 2 months or so, may hiring kami ng new immigration officers. And it's a big thing na makapag-hire kami ng mga fresh graduates, yung mga graduate of good schools, yung mga graduate with honors. Kasi lalagyan natin ng mga taong dekalidad yung ating ahensya na siguro unti-unti mababago natin at may improve natin yung Bureau.
Alright, and with that, maraming salamat sa panahong binigay niyo sa amin tungkol sa Bureau of Immigration.
Salamat din po.
Ayan po si Ms. Dana Sandoval, ang spokesperson ng Bureau of Immigration. Beyond regulating borders and enforcing laws, the Bureau of Immigration is not just a government agency. It is the nation's gatekeeper, ensuring security, protecting sovereignty, and upholding the trust that keeps every journey safe for Filipinos and foreign visitors alike. At yan po ang tunay na mukha sa likod ng mga balita at mga isyong pinag-uusapan. Matapang na humarap at nagpakilala. Ako po si Angelique Lazo at ito ang In Person.